Welcome to another version of The Art of the Swords. I'm so glad you could join us. We are on a journey with Dom Lorenzo Scupoli. This is a series, chapter by chapter, as we go over some of the tips, tricks, and the ultimate ways that we can overcome all those oppressing suggestions of the demonic and work towards virtue, exercising our own demonic influences. This week is no exception. We are already on chapter 28. And in this chapter, we're going to explore the demonic device. So, stay tuned. This is going to be a fast and furious one. Please click the like button so this video goes up and more people get the chance to look at it. And I'm hoping you like the content. If you do, could you please subscribe? And if you absolutely love the fact that this is a ministry, not for profit, and we're here to help everyone no matter where you are, I thank you, my latest patron subscribers. There are links below that you can help us out here at Swords of St. Michael Ministries, and they're all below. So for right now, it's time to pray ourselves in. So don't go anywhere. Put me on pause, get your journal, get your cup of tea, and here we go. In nomine Patri et Filii et Spiritus Sanctus, sic et in principio et nunc et semper et saecula saeculorum. Sancta Michael Arcangele, defende nos in prelio. Contra nequitiam et insidiis diaboli esto praesidium. Imperere Deus. Supplices te precamer tuque. Princeps maletia celestis satana maliosque spiritus malignos. Qui et perditionem maram pervegantur in mundo divina virtute in infernum detrude. Amen. Now, our research study prayer. Concede mihi misericordias Deus, qui ti placita sunt ardenter investigare, vericiter agnoscere, et perfecte ad implere, ad laudem et gloriam nominis tui. Amen. In English, grant me grace, O merciful God, to desire ardently all that is pleasing to thee, to examine it prudently, to acknowledge it prudently, to accomplish it perfectly, for the praise and glory of thy name. Amen. The Spiritual Combat, and a Treatise on Peace of Soul. Dom Lorenzo Scupoli. Chapter 28. The cunning devices used by the devil to destroy completely those he has already drawn into sin. When the devil has enmeshed the soul in sin, he uses every means at his disposal to distract its attention from anything that would enable it to recognize the terrible condition into which it has already fallen. The devil is not content to stifle every inspiration from heaven and to suggest evil thoughts in their place. He endeavors to plunge it into new faults, either of the same or a more vicious nature, by supplying dangerous opportunities to sin. Thus, the soul deprived of heavenly guidance heaps sin upon sin and hardens itself in its evil ways. Floundering in the mire, it rushes from darkness to darkness, from one pit to another, always moving farther from the path of salvation and multiplying sin upon sin, unless strengthened by the extraordinary grace from heaven. The most efficacious remedy against this evil is the willing reception of the divine helps that will draw the soul from darkness to light, from vice to virtue. Let the soul cry out, Lord, help me, hasten to my relief. Do not leave me any longer in the darkness of sin and death. Similar ejaculations should be frequently repeated. If it is possible, one should immediately seek the advice of his confessor against the assaults of the enemy. If this is possible, one should kneel before a crucifix or beseech the Queen of Heaven for compassion and assistance. Victory depends entirely on the diligent effort that is expended. As we have been talking about in this series, there are many, many opportunities every day that draw us from our peace, from our place of prayer, in our readiness to serve, and our readiness to be willing to do what we need to do, to go beyond what it takes, to be what we're called, servants, humble servants. This chapter points out that, very aptly, one minor fall, one little vice. To an alcoholic, it might be that first sip. To someone addicted to pornography, it might be one television show too much. To one addicted to gambling, it may be playing that one card game that opens the door to the oppression that will follow and lure the soul into one upon another opportunity. And I was just talking with somebody on the phone about this the other day when I was taking a case intake. We have to look at everything around us, because it's not just our ability to fight off sin, to fight off the urge to overeat, the urge to overdrink, the urge to self-console on a daily basis. It's at us every single day. And don't think for 1 minute it's going to let up. Because the minute we deprive the evil one of one way to tempt us, he will find someone else, something else that we care so deeply about, and it will hit us unawares. My point earlier is that we look at those things that we seek comfort from, these things, from whatever our woundedness was when we were younger, whether it was an attachment, whether it was a form of self-consolation. We have a tendency to turn to that in times of stress, in times of duress. You are going to lean on what's comfortable to you. And in this little bottle lies the genie of your destruction, the devil's device on how to trick you, how to fool you, how to pull the wool over your eyes, whether it's dreams. And this is a common theme with someone, whether they're stopping smoking, whether they're recovering from a porn addiction, whether they are recovering from flirtatiousness, outside of a marriage. The dreams will hit you just as hard as the reality that we must live in our daily lives. So what can we do? Well, these are the notes I took. There's a lot here, so I'm going to try and condense it for you. When we're looking at the demonic devices that come directly at us every day, we have to be very, very, very careful. A lot of times when we are trying to recognize the opportunities to sin, we don't realize in our need to self-soothe and self-comfort, we look to other people. We look to devices. We look to gambling. We look to excessive eating. We look to all these little things that we line up like little toy soldiers all around us so we can play with them and we can move them in order to feel like we actually have some control, not realizing that we have just been invited to the dance of sin by something as simple as wanting to console a hurt feeling. Somebody insulted us. Somebody doesn't love us the way we want them to, so we're going to go seek some consolation elsewhere. Food, alcohol, pornography, the arms of another. And these devils have been watching you all your life. They know the magazines under your bed. They know the apps on your phone that you hide. They see the numbers that you write down in your address book under somebody else's name. They know all your tricks to avoid being caught. And of course, you give yourself the excuse, well, it's just a friendship, it's just one or two. We make excuses and we allow ourselves to be lied to. We lie to ourselves and we dig our heels in deeper because we're justified. The lies heap upon lies, heap upon lies, and your poor soul doesn't know the difference. You've got so many scales over your eyes, you're not going to be able to get them off. That's the danger here. The first invitation. So when we're looking at the devices that demonic, please be aware that when we seek consolation, that is one of the number one entry points. Just curiosity. Well, my feelings are hurt, so, it can't hurt to flirt with this person. You don't even realize you're doing it. We tell ourselves these lies all the time, and they're very dangerous. In order to observe and document these devices, we have to be aware. And what do we have to be aware of? The opportunity to step out of grace, to step out of what we said, oh, I'm never going to do that again. Oh, no, I quit that. Oh, I don't need that. It's not good for me. However, the opportunity will come. The temptation will come again and again and again. And never from the people that you think it's going to come from. It's always coming from around the corner. So in order to identify these devices, we're going to look in our journals and we're going to look at our past hurts. And we're going to be aware of that this weekend. Because when we go into our day Monday, we're going to be prepared to do battle. We're going to put on our armor. We're going to say our prayers. We're going to take advantage of the graces of the sacraments, the graces of confession, the graces of relying on God through Christ alone. 2 levels, as always. 1 level, a little bit more gentle. 2nd level, a little bit more in depth. For the first level, in order to recognize the opportunity to sin, in looking at your journal and what you've noted, draws you away from God. Whether you're pocketing pens at work, whether you are planting plants on your neighbor's property because it's ugly and you're helping your neighbor, you're stealing their property, okay? Look for the opportunities where in the past you have been offended, you have been aggravated, angry, your passions have been aroused to such a state that you had a difficult time backing off. That's a big red flag. So we're going to look for this. We're going to look for this in about every situation, whether it is instead of 5 minutes at the water cooler getting a cup of coffee, maybe you're taking 15 or 20 and stealing time from your boss. Bet you didn't think of that one. Or maybe instead of being intimate with your husband or your wife, you're choosing to play video games or work too long, thus stealing justice from your marriage. People don't think about that either. They don't think, well, it's not a sin. I'm working, I'm supporting the family. We tell ourselves the lies of convenience because we place our own self-consolations and our own self-soothing over our duty. So we're going to look for these opportunities. We're going to look for these opportunities through people. We're going to look through these opportunities. What method are you noticing? I want you to journal. Is it food that's tempting you? What is it? This is for my level 1. I want you to journal. What's tempting you? When you identify the temptation of what it is, I want to know. I want you to write in your book. Did you succumb? Did you say no? And if you succumbed that easily, how long did it take you to realize you needed to ask God, oh, Lord, I need help. I need help. Jesus, please help me. Forgive me. How long did it take you? This is going to be some insight that's valuable as we work through these exercises. So make notes. Just be brief, keep them accurate, and as often as you can. If you can do it 3 times a week, level 1, that would be wonderful. Now for level 2, we're going to do it a little bit differently. If you are familiar, and I'm sure you already are, you have a regular opportunity before your eyes even hit the pillow to do an examination of conscience. You've got your prayers set. So you're going to do the same thing. You're going to look for the opportunities of what is tempting you. But I also want you to journal who. The devil is smart, and the devil is going to use other people. So it's not just what. It may not be just a book, Playboy or a Penthouse. It might be the person that handed it to you. It might be the person that turned on that channel. Who is being used and in what way? The person isn't bad. The choice to sin is. Because sin means you've turned your back. You can do it all without God. When? I think that my number 2 group, if you look at the when this happens, it's going to happen when you're hurt, you're confused, you're lonely, you're scared, you've had an argument with your significant other, your spouse, your fiance, your child, somebody that you're close with, the devil is trying to separate you from. Never forget, destruction and chaos. There's a reason. So, by finding when you are being incited to fall into that temptation, you'll know. You will be aware of how you have to step forward and bind that temptation away from you. Bind it to the foot of the cross. Call out for Christ. Go in the bathroom. Do what you need to do as you would any 2-year-old that is about to reach for the fire on top of the stove. Lift yourself up, turn yourself around, and get to it. Get right on it. Because you are the only one Our consciousness need to be formed because we have free will. And your free will either take you home or send you to the abyss. There is no one in the abyss. There is nothing in the abyss that has not chosen it. That's the sad truth. It's going to be a fight. It's going to be a fight, and it's going to be on the rest of our lives. And if I were to promise you there would be no discomfort, I'd be lying. The reason we have discomfort is God is calling you closer. He's calling me closer. Through every compulsion, through every obsession, through every opportunity. So if we're aware of this, what can we do? Start thanking your guardian angel, I'll tell you what. Because those angels are so much smarter than we are. That's the big blessing. If you're married, you have an angel of your marriage to watch over you. Thank God. I thank God that you're here. And I'm praying that we all are going to keep forward on this journey. So with that, identifying the demonic device in your life and identifying the opportunities by the who, why, what, where is it coming in? Remember, the battle's already been won. And we're here to help you fight the fight. Win it right. Don't forget to click on that like button, pop that bell, subscribe if you can, and I will see you next week. So, do your homework. And I'll see you then. God bless. Take care. Goodbye.